like a
Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a
Okay, remember now, we're not here to judge anybody. We want to handle this with love, right? You want to tell him how his drug abuse has hurt you, maybe hurt himself. Okay, Harold, what time did you tell him to be here?
5 o'clock, but he's always late.
No, he'll be here. In 3, 2, 1.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
That's how we do it, baby. Leading edge style right there. That's how it is, man. That's our signal. Right, Gunner?
You know it.
Yeah, Gunner loves it. I'm telling you right now. I'm trying to top with Gunner every week. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Yourself?
Hey, thanks for waking up from your nap or whatever, dude, and deciding to join the party, bro.
My bad. I got my booster earlier today, so I'm a little groggy a bit.
I can tell, dude. You're frozen, man. Your booster fucked you up, kid.
Yeah.
Nah, you're all good, man. You're straight.
Oh, I love it. The good, the bad, and the other reference. Arch Stanton.
Nice job.
Yeah, Andrew, you finally get to meet Arch, man. After all this time, dude. The long missing Arch, folks. Here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, we have been without Arch for like I don't even know how long. I don't know, 3 months or something.
It's been a little while, man. I mean, I know I've tried to get on a couple of times, but I mean, you get my voice this time anyway.
I mean, holy shit, we had him for like 2 months straight. He was on every friggin' show, and then he was gone.
But dude, by the way, I gotta give Andrew props. You're, I think, honestly, the first person that's ever been like, "Hey, is that a good, the bad, and the ugly reference?" Like nobody says that.
Stanton. That's the name of the grave.
The name on the grave.
No,
well,
next to the grave.
Man. Best film of all time. I love it.
So, also, I want to go
one of my
ahead
favorite films.
Oh, pardon me, Andrew. I want to go ahead and mention that Alexis is back once again. It's good to see your smiling face, Alexis. How are you doing?
Happy to be back finally.
You know what, Alexis? Honestly, I honestly want to believe that, like, the reason why we have 36% of our podcast audience is female in our analytics is because of your appearances. You and all of our wonderful female guests you hold it down like so hard that like you brought our shit up like that, because that's pretty solid, Alexis, isn't it? 36%.
Oh, they're probably not coming for the shot of Nev Campbell at the beginning of the show there.
Are you impressed that I have that high of a percentage of female listeners?
He just blows right past that. I like that. Nice.
Hey,
we'll talk later, Jeff. I need to make you some new graphics.
Wait a second now. Hey, listen, I'm just going in a different direction. You know, I've been going in kind of a different direction with my chances to moderate the Bleeding Edge and whatnot. Alexis, you know what I mean? Like, Cyber kind of keeps it real when he comes on and does his thing and keeps us respectable and whatnot. And then I come in and try to see how far I can get with things. You know what I mean? Before I start to push anybody's buttons. But no, listen, it's all good, Alexis. Look, you look just as good as any of those women in those freaking intros anyway.
Thank you.
It's great. That. But no, listen, the Bleeding Edge is a different kind of MCU show. So I mean, that's just how it is. But hey, Gunner, what's up, man? Dude, 2 nights in a row, bro. What's going on?
I know.
Dude, me and Gunner are gonna start getting after it. Gunner's been telling me about these like 12-hour recording sessions he's done before in the past and shit.
What?
I think are going to end up doing.
I was under a deadline. We did like 3 shows in one night. It was crazy. It was a while ago.
Jeez, dude.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Gunner, if we're going to be doing some 12-hour recording or whatever, we better hook up with Tyrone Biggins real quick there. You know what I'm saying? And get straight. You feel me? Yep. So anyways, well, we had Jeff B on here, but like, oh, wait, here he is. Jesus, I'm Jeff.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm so sorry, man. Listen, hey, you popped off for just a second.
I don't know. It bounced me off, and the next thing I know, I was down here in this big box. So listen, I don't know.
I haven't been on StreamYard in so long that I forgot how it worked. And you were
it's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
You were way down
I was listening.
The screen. I couldn't even see you. Anyways, and we got Jeff B, the comic book collecting regular of the Bleeding Edge these days. Jeff B's back. What's up, Jeff? It's good to see you.
What's up?
Man. Dude, I'm fucking jacked to get into
Happy New Year, everybody, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's to us
Thank you, you
hopefully
too.
having something better than what the last 2 years have dealt us.
It'd be nice, right?
Most
So,
definitely.
Andrew, you got your booster today?
Yeah, I got it earlier
Yeah.
today, and it's weird though because like the first 2 shots didn't do anything to me. I didn't
Yeah,
feel
that's how I
anything, but
was. It didn't bother me at all.
this third one's kind of making me feel a little groggy. So like when Jeff's like, "Oh, here's a link," I'm like, "Oh, cool! Like I'll be there in half an hour," and he's like, "It's like no, we're starting now." I'm like, "What? What?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I scramble everything together.
I got the booster 2 days ago, and I ended up spending all of yesterday in bed. My body felt like I had just been run over by a bus and dragged 5 blocks. I was just so sore, so out of it.
Okay, I got a small related reveal. My booster was scheduled for Friday, and guess what I've got right now?
COVID.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's awful.
I'm feeling
Sorry,
all right.
man.
I'm quarantined. I'm hanging out in my bedroom right now. I just got a scratchy throat and a little, little sinus pressure. No big deal there.
I'm actually gonna be taking an STD booster shortly, because I caught some herp. You know what I'm saying? Like some dirty herp, and I gotta get my shit boosted up. You know what I'm saying?
Inquiring
get some
minds
sun,
apparently
Jeff.
needed to know that. Thank you, Jeff.
Get some sunlight.
Oh man,
I've had a lot of. This is the most vaccinations I've had since I was in the military. I've had flu vaccine. I've had the pneumonia vaccine, all the COVIDs, and the shingle vaccine.
Wow. Yeah. Like it'll see a world of hurt. So on.
Andrew, your audio is a little rough there, man. It was hard to hear what you were saying there.
I'm sorry. Is that a little bit better or still no?
It's better.
No, it sounds decent.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you're good, man. Hey, Andrew, you could be a little messed up, man. You're still all good. All right, so check it out, y'all. The agenda is essentially, this is really going to be interesting. I've already done this once, but it's going to be a little bit different this time. We're going to do a ranking of what essentially is 9 properties that came out from Marvel Studios in 2021. I didn't grasp that Venom 2 is our 10th, release or whatever, or movie or whatever property. So we are going to go with 10. We're going to throw Venom 2 in the mix, but we're going to rank them. We're going to go best to worst, and try to go through 1 through 5 and try to get to that point. You know what I mean? And basically, the way it's going to work out is we're going to have a panel basically that's going to be Gunnar and Andrew and Jeff and me, and we're going to basically do the ranking. And Arch and Alexis are going to step in and like handle like the coaching of the shit. And like step in and like facilitate the dialogue and the discussion and whatnot and everything, and jump in on like what we pick and like what we choose, in our spots and stuff. Because Arch has a long-standing thing where he doesn't do ranking.
Sorry.
Which is okay. I respect that about Arch. And Alexis wants to be fair too about it. So, right, Alexis?
Very much.
I'm just non-committal.
I basically thought it'd be more fun to offer commentary when you guys tell me it's like, well, this is at number 8, and I'll go, I'd put that higher, or I'll put that lower. It's like, because I was telling Jeff, the problems when I try to do top 10s with a group, everyone starts pointing out, their opinions, and I go, well, yeah, you got a point. And then I try to rework my list, and then by the end of it, I've pretty much thrown the whole damn thing up in the air.
Well, honestly, to tell you the truth, Alexis, I was kind of cool. Once it fell in place the way it did, I talked to Arch, and then I talked to you, and we all kind of got on the same page. At that point, I knew what direction I was going to go with the show. You know what I mean? Firmly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So then I could just kind of fill it out. You know what I mean? And we could just rock it from there, And I like how it came out because we got a great, ensemble here together for this, show. You know what I mean? Like, we got some solid people here. And, we're mixing things up. Like, not everybody's doing the same thing here. We're jumping on different wavelengths and stuff. I think it's kind of neat. So let's get into it. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I did this already. I did 10 through 6, worst to best on Snap, an MCU podcast with Gunnar and Chris. And then I slept through the second part and missed out my chance to do 5 to 1. So now we're doing it basically just like in reverse. And I really thought it would be cool to have Gunnar come in and do this again, and I'm glad you were able to come on, Gunnar, because I think this will probably be fun for you.
Yeah.
It'll be
Well,
interesting.
I want to redo my list because it's totally different now after I recorded that podcast with you guys. Like things that were low on my list, I'm like, man, that should have been higher, and things that were higher should have been lower. But I'm gonna leave my list the same. That way, it's fair.
Yo, Gunnar and Chris both picked Hawkeye as their number 2 best release or whatever.
Spoiler alert. Actually, Chris and I, Chris is my podcasting partner on Snap. Our top 4s were identical. I've been doing top 5 lists for 10 years in podcasts. Never seen anything like that where our top 4 were exactly the same. Just crazy.
Well, you know what? Let's get this started. Let's get after it. Why don't we go ahead and why don't we just start right off? And Andrew, I'll put it on you. You can be in the hot seat. Why don't you break us off with your number 1, your top dog of 2021?
All right. This includes everything up to and including No Way Home, right?
This is everything. This is Venom 2, Spider-Man 3, Hawkeye,
Okay.
Falcon,
All right.
Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Loki, What If, Eternals, WandaVision.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's make this abundantly clear for everyone listening. We are looking at 4 movies: Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, Spider-Man, No Way Home. Well, I guess 5 if we are counting Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And 5 TV shows: WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye.
And Andrew,
And
hold on 1 second.
All right.
So, who would like to start? Mr. Barnes, why does Sam aggravate you?
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan?
Great.
Superheroes cannot be allowed to exist. I have no intention to leave my work unfinished. The world's upside down right now. Where do we start?
Buck, I have a plan. Oh yeah? What is it? Is you ready?
Here we go again, huh?
We've been grinding hard on the job. Can't take that from us. Are you ready? Is you ready? Ready? You say you ready? Ready? Is you ready? Are you ready? Ready? Is you ready? Hello, girl, kick your ass. Gotta get that first shot up before that bullet hit me.
See? That wasn't so hard.
Are you ready? Is you ready? Ready?
Okay.
You say you ready.
What are you doing?
Whole squad ready.
Are you having a staring contest?
Are you ready? Ready? Is you ready?
Just blink. Sweet Jesus. I mean, how old are you?
Dude, that was freaking awesome, man. I'm so glad that we watched that. That was really cool. I forgot how awesome that freaking trailer was. Does anybody want to just remark anything on that? Because I got to just say really quick that it looked Sharon Carter still looks freaking awesome when she in that episode 3 where she fights all those thugs or whatever and whatnot in that shipping yard or whatever it was. You know what I mean? With Zemo when they're interrogating the Hydra scientists and everything. And she fights all those thugs and whatnot. That shit was awesome. But
I think that really captured that show. I've never actually seen that. That was released after the show. It was a trailer towards the end of the season or after? Or
no, that was pre. That was
that was an early trailer.
That was the Investors Day trailer.
That was the trailer. That was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer.
Somehow I don't remember that one. That looks good though. That looks really good.
Oh, it was great. When Falcon went underneath the truck and everything and whatnot, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think you had to see that on Disney Plus.
I mean, you guys already know this about me. I don't watch a lot of trailers because I know I'm going to love the show and I like seeing all that stuff firsthand. But I'll tell you, that trailer, looking back on it now, it reflects the show. It makes me. It's what made me feel excited about the show. They just summed it up there.
Very much.
So does anybody feel like they're going to be biased now or anything like that because we watched that? No? All right. Anyways, back to you, Andrew. I gave you some extra time to think things through.
You know what? I'm actually glad to play that trailer because I was thinking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was like, that show was all right. And I thought about Barrett Zemo, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot Zemo was in that. I'm like, oh, that's right. He was like probably one of the better parts of that show. So I'm glad you play that trailer. But my answer for my number one is still going to be No Way Home. It's just I cannot think of a better ensemble film since like Endgame. I think when it comes to like movies or shows, anything that makes me feel things, even if it's like a cheap nostalgia grab, like I'm a sucker for that. Anything that makes me like laugh, makes me nervous, makes me cry, which No Way Home did all those things. For me, No Way Home is easily number one.
Yeah, No Way Home was my number one too, Andrew. I thought it hit every mark it was supposed to hit. I mean, it didn't let me down at all. I loved everything about it.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think that that's a pretty safe bet, obviously, to go in that direction. Why don't we slide right over to you, Gunner, and why don't you jump right in and give us our next big number one?
Oh yeah, like I said, No Way Home is my number one also.
Is there
I think you need to ask Jeff what his number one is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff B, what's up? What's your number one?
Oh man, my number one movie overall, number one show and movie combined, probably the number one would have to be Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh, come on, guys. You guys are making this boring.
I'm only saying that because of the movies that's come out, Black Widow wasn't anywhere near the caliber of Spider-Man. I like Black Widow, but it wasn't anywhere near as good. And I haven't seen Eternals, so.
That's right.
Shang-Chi I've watched, but Shang-Chi's not as good as Spider-Man's movie. Spider-Man just brought out a lot of old school stuff. I
gotta be honest with you. I'm telling you right now, Jeff, I would bet money that probably seeing the Eternals would not change your decision there, like at number one. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't seen Venom and I haven't seen Eternals. So
I want to put it out there right now. When we did our review of the Eternals, it was me and Alexis against the Eternals versus Mark and friggin' Deathman that were crying over the Eternals and everything and whatnot, thought it was like Oscar worthy. But anyways,
I don't think Mark said it was Oscar worthy.
I'm just messing around. I know that.
Sorry, he's my boss. I got to defend him.
Okay, so listen, I'm going to jump in and change it up. I'm not going to pick Spider-Man, and hopefully this will give you and Alexa something to work with here. I'm definitely not going to go with Spider-Man at all. I'm going to change the game up. Because I think, honestly, probably that, the number one production that came out of everything that came out probably was WandaVision. I think that was probably the best. Out of everything that came out was WandaVision. It was the most well done. It was the most interesting. It was the most unique. It was, way out there for Marvel Studios for them to take that leap and go in that direction and whatnot the way they did. And they really kind of, took a chance there.
It set the pace.
It was nice to see that with Marvel Studios. It was nice to see that with Kevin Feige, that with all the success that Marvel's had, they're not trying to play it safe. They're willing to take chances and do different shit. And, and tempt fate with the fans that they might reject something like WandaVision or whatever. Luckily, that's not what the majority of them did. But yeah, I honestly think that the acting in WandaVision with Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany is outstanding. And just the whole show itself came together so well. All the characters fit well. The chemistry of the show was good. The secondary characters were good. Monica Rambeau is the inspiration for the Monica Rambeau MVP of every Disney Plus series. She's the number. She's the definition of it. You know what I'm saying? She stood out. She took over that shit. So I just feel basically from an impact standpoint for me, as far as how I felt at the end of it and whatnot, internally, I feel WandaVision is what impacted me the most.
Yeah, I'll talk more about WandaVision when it comes up on my list, but I will say this. out of all of the experiences I have, I enjoyed watching WandaVision more than all of these. Like the experience of that, of podcasting on it, taking notes, deep diving the most weird, obscure, random characters. I loved everything about the process of WandaVision. And I love the series too. It's a little lower on my list, but the experience of watching it, nothing tops it. Nothing. Even as much as I love Spider-Man, I love the experience of watching and podcasting every week and trying to anticipate what's coming next. I like that more than anything this year. But
yeah,
we'll talk more about WandaVision when it pops up on my list.
I'd love to hear, Alexis, I'd love to hear from you and Arch on WandaVision, to be honest with you, because I feel like it's a really interesting topic.
From a technical standpoint, I cannot, praise WandaVision enough. I love how they were able to tackle and capture the feel of all these different generations of television in one setting. I love how well they were able to mimic the feel of the old 50s and 60s shows, to the fact that they actually filmed them with a studio audience, with minimal special effects, no CGI, everything, with using string and the old-fashioned techniques. They apparently even brought Dick Van Dyke in as a consultant for that, and I thought that was really cool. However, I cannot put it anywhere near my personal number one space for one reason only, and that is the Quicksilver cock tease. That really pissed me off. I understand where they were going with this, the idea of the recasting. I get the points that Kevin Feige and the directors and everything were trying to do, but when oh my god, the name of the actor from the Fox X-Men movies who played Quicksilver, when he showed up.
Why is that stumping me?
Peter Evans, isn't it?
Yeah. Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
Other way around.
I was screaming. I was going, oh my God. I could not stop freaking out, because it was like, we thought this was going to be the link to bring in the X-Men, and then they find out, no, it's a lame attempt at a boner joke. And I was just there going, there is no way you guys could have done this and not have us react any other way. Again, I get I get the idea of the recasting. I get the notes they were trying to hit, but that genuinely made me upset. I really felt like that was a giant tease in the face of the fans, who they know are overreading every detail on the show. We're looking for Easter eggs between the lines on the calendar on the wall, for God's sake. We overanalyze everything. We are the biggest nerds on the planet. And to do that, I was like, I'm sorry. I genuinely thought it was kind of a middle finger.
Nothing did that. No other show or movie had that buzz like WandaVision did, where it drove everybody crazy.
I still think it was the timing, because of the pandemic, and it came out. The timing was perfect, because everybody was, it gave everybody something to do. I mean, but I agree. It was a total deep dive. That thing really got everything kicked off. That kicked the whole Disney Plus thing off for Marvel.
And on the same note as the same note as the boner joke, the whole Paul Bettany, there's an actor that I always wanted to work with. It's myself. Like, that was kind of dumb.
Andrew, what did you want to say, brother?
I was going to say, along the same lines as everybody else has mentioned, about how for the longest time that running joke, or maybe not a running joke, I think it was serious for some people, was like the whole Mephisto thing and everything. Like, watching the way I think everybody, because it was the first Marvel week to week show we got, it had to set the tone for the rest. Watching that, and how she mentioned looking at every single clue and everything, I think that kind of made me a little jaded later on with the rest of the Marvel shows, where I wasn't trying to pay as much attention, because I felt like my paying super attention wasn't going to reward me, because it didn't reward me in WandaVision. For a lot of the later shows, I wasn't looking out for any little clues or Easter eggs, because I was and I think that kind of helped, because the surprises we did get in Falcon and in Hawkeye, because I wasn't anticipating anything. If you're not, if you set your bar low, you're more likely to get surprised. And I think that's kind of how. I think that's why, in some ways, I enjoyed the later Marvel show more than WandaVision. I think WandaVision is number two. WandaVision's emotional high notes.
Is everybody here? Was everybody here kind of pro that being the Fox Quicksilver? Just quick show of hands. Everybody thought that was going to be Fox Quicksilver.
I refuse to believe that there is anyone who saw that and thought, "Oh, this is just a throwaway gag."
Oh, I totally did.
All thought
I thought it was
this
gonna
was
be
the window.
I would
Yeah.
tell you right now, I contended from day one on that show. I'm gonna be I feel like I'm opposite of everybody here, and I was kind of like waiting to like see how this played out, but not on this and the Spider-Man topic, but I'll get to that in a second. The I never thought that they'd possibly do that. I didn't think that Marvel would come close to saying, "Oh yeah, we want the Fox version of the X-Men in this." I always thought that they were going to go for their own unique thing. So when I saw him come up, I was like, "Nah, there's no way they're actually making this Fox Quicksilver." That was just my honest reaction. It really was. I thought the whole time I enjoyed that tease because I just don't think it's the way they should go. And I don't know, maybe that's just an opinion, I guess, but I just didn't think they would actually do it. It's not just that I didn't want them to do it. I really didn't think they would do it. So it was never like a real tease to me. It was
I
kind
agree.
of.
I'm glad they didn't do it. It's too easy just to say multiverse. I want them to come
Right.
up and I want it to pay off where you're like, good job, team. Very well.
Right. Yeah. So I actually appreciated it because it kind of validated the way I thought that they were going to go. I was like, nah, they're not doing that. And then they did. And I was like, yeah, okay. I see. So to me, it felt good. But since you just mentioned the multiverse and them potentially bringing in X-Men that direction, that's kind of why I didn't feel anything over Spider-Man, guys. I'm sorry. I loved it. I think it's a great movie. And I'll further cement that by saying that I think it's a movie that had to happen, that needed to happen, and this was the only time to really ever do that justice. So I think it's absolutely necessary and a very well crafted film. But I don't seeing Andrew and Toby and all the other guys back to me isn't like something that advances or does really anything in the context of the MCU. I'm more looking at films like Shang-Chi, which break open new realms and talk about new characters and new powers and new abilities, and you got these mysteries like where the rings came from and if there's other dragons and all that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I'm wondering about. It's nice to see Toby and Andrew and stuff, but I'm not, I haven't put another thought into the movie after that. So it's just kind of there. I enjoyed it, but I don't really latch to it. If that
That
makes
was
sense.
my biggest criticism of the movie.
Yeah.
I absolutely love No Way Home. One of my biggest takeaways of it, though, was the guy who directed this and has directed the other two Spider-Man movies, John Watts, is going to direct the Fantastic Four.
That's right.
And watching No Way Home and seeing how they watching how they incorporated all this, the fact that they found a way to bring in Green Goblin and Electro and have them actually kind of look like their comic book counterparts. I walked out of that theater and the first thing into my mind was, yep, I trust John Watts to do Fantastic Four now.
Oh, I definitely do. It's a great film. I don't want to take anything away from it. It's damn good. And I love it. I'm clearly in a teeny tiny minority, and I love that everybody else is pumped for it. I love how well it's doing at the box office, which is a whole nother conversation. It's awesome, dude. I love seeing it. I really do. That's
Crazy
super
numbers.
cool. And,
2021 is the year of the comic accurate outfits. Like
Yeah, for
all
sure,
those
for
Disney
sure.
Plus things gave us Zemo with the purple mask and
I love
the
that.
Sam
Yeah.
Wilson Captain America outfit. It's been great. And all those WandaVision Halloween outfits. This year has been great for those that like the cheesy comic book outfits.
Well, hey, let's get on to number 2. Let's move on to our next round here and keep this thing moving and whatnot. We'll change up the order this time and whatnot. And Jeff, you go first. What's your number 2?
Well, we just talked about number 2 was WandaVision on mine.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. WandaVision opened the door up for me for everything because it opened the door up for the deep dive to chase the Easter eggs. The problem with WandaVision for me was once Falcon and Winter Soldier came out, I found myself stopping and pausing, looking for the extra credit scenes, searching for the Easter eggs in Falcon Winter Soldier. The same exact thing that I did with WandaVision. And I've done that pretty much with every Disney Plus thing that's come out. So, but that started with WandaVision. But yeah, that's got to be number 2 on my list.
I think that's a pretty solid
Same.
number 2. I do.
Yeah.
And Gardner, why don't you jump in next?
Well, mine was spoiled. It's Hawkeye.
What a surprise!
I loved Hawkeye. I read the Matt Fraction comic right before. Actually, I think it was in between weeks 2 and 3. I read the entire. I sat down in 2 days and read the entire run of that. And man, there's so much good that came from this. It wasn't. And I think I loved it for other reasons than the reason I love some of these other shows. I love the chemistry between Yelena and Kate Bishop. I love Jack Dufresne as the swordsman. He was great. Give me more of him. Give me a Disney Plus series where he is LARPing with Grills and the rest of the LARPers. I am in 100% on that.
Yes.
I'm hoping we get at least a short of that. A Disney Plus short would be great.
It was just fun, man. It was everything. The Rogers the musical was great. I downloaded that song. I listen to it all the time. Just makes me. This show just made me happy. And yeah, it's the newest one. My top 2 are the 2 newest ones, so they're freshest on my brain. But I just enjoyed everything about this series. They brought the Star Wars Christmas in the Stars album. They played a track from that. I mean, what a deep cut. I can't think anything I didn't like about this series, except maybe it's too short. I wanted more.
I don't know. I think it was Echo. Echo was so good.
She was awesome
in the series that that's what it is for Gunner. That's why he's going with Hawkeye at number 2.
And here's the other thing. I like shows and some of the stuff that we'll talk about later. I feel like it didn't move the MCU forward. This and No Way Home gave us Wilson Fisk and Daredevil, which now opens the door to this whole Netflix universe. Now we got to watch our back for Danny Rand showing up, or Iron Fist, or Power Man, and Jessica Jones. I'm excited now to see. Just showing Wilson Fisk, I don't know what it means. I don't know what this means. Are they the same characters? Does that universe exist here? Are they variants?
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's what makes this exciting for me. Also,
I do want to know how Wilson Fisk supposedly survives getting shot at the end of Hawkeye.
Well, it's in the comic. He gets shot in the comic and survives.
I think the way he didn't get shot is just the fact that they didn't show it. They're not going to.
Oh, of course, but I want to know what happened.
Right. Yeah, no, I do too. I don't know. His bulletproof. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she just fired.
Well, I would assume she would have shot him in the head.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe
in the comic he gets shot and goes blind. She shoots. Actually, Maya shoots him, and he survives, but he's blind.
Interesting.
So, which would set up. I think the Echo series is a hidden Daredevil show. I think Daredevil will be on it. I think it will
probably.
If these guys are part of this universe, I think we're going to see Foggy and we're going to see everyone from that Daredevil universe in Echo.
Yeah,
they just didn't want to announce that they're doing a Daredevil series.
I agree with Gunner 100%. I think you'll see Karen Page and you'll see Foggy and you'll see all of them come.
You think it's literally a Daredevil show?
Well, I think it'll be a Daredevil and Echo show.
I think there's a very strong chance, Arch, that honestly, if Marvel's not careful, if they allow Daredevil to be too involved in the Echo series, he could take over.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm really curious, since I wasn't really expecting to see them. That was honestly my favorite part of No Way Home, was seeing Matt and then him catching the brick, and my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what? That got me excited. Seeing Wilson back, I agree. I'm waiting to see what their plans are, because this can't just be a tease. Surely,
and man, Yelena and Kate. Well, talk about chemistry. I mean, we've had great chemistry in the MCU, but this is towards the top of the list. They were so good together.
They were really good.
That elevator scene. I love that elevator scene they have together. Where she's like, she keeps smacking her hand when she reaches the button, so she finally starts getting aggressive, and she outmaneuvers her and everything. I love that elevator scene.
And man, Yelena's voice was just mesmerizing to me. I could hear her talking that terrible Russian accent all day long. I loved it. It's like Bane in Dark Knight Rises. I could just listen to him narrate War and Peace, and I would be happy. Or the phone book 9675309.
Okay, all right.
That's me right now.
So I'll jump in next, and then Andrew, you can round us out. All right, my number 2 is going to be Black Widow, because honestly, I think Black Widow was the best MCU movie out of all the MCU movies that came out in 2021. I do. I think it was the best one. I don't care what anybody. I mean, that's just that. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here on purpose or whatever, just to like make this interesting or something like that. I don't play that kind of crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what you get from me, like at the end of the day. And like, I don't play around with my Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what I like. And at the end of the day, I like a lot of the same shit that y'all like. But like, bottom line, you know, certain films hit me differently than other films, you know? And like, for me, again, when I look back at like how I felt at the end of Black Widow, like the energy I felt from the film based off of like the watching Spider-Man 3, they weren't even close. You know what I mean? Like I felt like honestly I disagree 100% with Gunnar. Gunnar has maintained a premise in the past that they kind of set that movie up for Yelena Belova, and she kind of like, you know, took over and whatnot. I don't feel like that. I feel like ScarJo like really brought her A game for Black Widow, and like really gave us like I mean, people can say what they want about the Black Widow film, that it was done the wrong way. They should have made it 2 or 3 years before or whatever, and then it would have worked and all that shit or whatever. At the end of the day, that doesn't taint how quality the movie was. You know what I mean? It was well directed. It was well written. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the scenes like in Budapest and whatnot and everything were like amazing. And yeah, Yelena Belova was good in it. She was like, you know, she was a good part. I mean, there were a lot of good elements to the film, but I felt like ScarJo really delivered as like Nat, like one more time for us. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, am I biased a little bit about it because she's an original Sixth Avenger? Hell yeah, I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking A, like, you know what I mean? Like I respect the hell out of her. But at the same time, I feel like when she fucking smacked her head on that table to like dislodge that, you know, device that was in her face or whatever the fuck it was or whatever, Dracoff, like that, I mean, like that was impactful. Like that was deep. Like that surprised me. The way the movie started with like them taking off in the plane and being shot at by the cops and everything and whatnot, and like defecting or going to Russia and then like getting taken to the Red Room and everything. That shit was brutal, man. It was depressing as fuck. Like, what a way to start the movie. I was like, you got to be kidding me. In the theater, I was thinking to myself, like, I can't believe they're doing this, because I was actually like feeling like bad. But whatever. Bottom line, number 2, Black Widow, best movie that came out, better than Shang-Chi, and you know, better than Spider-Man 3. Andrew, what up, yo?
Oh, I thought you heard me earlier when I mentioned that I agreed with other Jeff. I'm sorry. That WandaVision was my number 2 as well, for all reasons you guys mentioned. As a kid growing up with my grandparents, watching Nick at Night and seeing Dick Van Dyke and Brady Bunch and all that stuff with it hit with me. It reminded me of like being a kid, like, even though I'm as old as those shows, but I grew up with Nick at Night, so like that stuff kind of it worked with me. Of course, the opt-in the quote from Vision of what do you say about ever enduring? Like, I know I got memed to hell, but that's a really good line.
Yeah,
there you go. Thank you so much. Like that whole last episode at the end where like they're saying bye to their kids and everything. Oh my God, like that was it, again, anything that makes me feel like cinema or like shows, whatever.
Andrew, you're cutting out really bad, man, just so you know. Like, you're going in and out a little bit. Like, you were just a little bit distorted earlier, but now you're actually like, we're losing you here and there.
Check the wiring on your mic plug-in, man. It sounds like what happens when I don't plug my headset in completely.
Yeah, it's staticking out real bad.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I can see like the port's a little loose right here.
There you go, man.
That could be what.
That's what it is. It's probably rocking back and forth a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back. I lost my train of thought. That's what I was saying. Anything.
Wanda's with a scene.
Cinema
at the end where
or
Wanda
show.
and Vision were saying goodbye to their kids.
Right. Anything that makes me feel an emotion, and it's not just like just a story, but actually makes like tugs at my heartstrings or makes me feel something that I consider that like something great. So, WandaVision's my easily number 2.
Okay, most definitely. Arch, Alexis, do you have anything to throw in or jump in here based off of what we put out there for like our number 2s?
Yeah, man. I think those are both good shots at number 2. I tend to agree with WandaVision like a lot more. I think that was a very complete show. I thought it was very unique and just bold to do something which is really complex. Actually, they had a lot of different sets. They had to update a lot of different things. They mixed a lot of different periods. If you ever watched our reviews of them, Taylor first goes on a long list every episode, breaking down the various influences which were in each set and in each story. They didn't just say, hey, this is the this is the Bewitched era and it's exactly a clone copy of her house. Each set has 8, 9, 10 maybe more influences into it, and I think it's really brilliant and really creative. I thought that was just a fantastically executed show. I love the ending. I love where they left Wanda. I just thought it was great, and just the weirdness factor for me is something I'm more interested in. I love that weird side of Marvel, so that I thought that was great. Hawkeye was surprising to me. There's 2 things I really loved about it. One, in general, that they took Hawkeye to a street level sort of position and put him in that arena because he's always classically been known as the weaker one on the Avengers thing, and dealing with these like world crazy events or more, closer to us at least a little bit. It's like a real human dealing with this. So, I mean, I thought the fact of bringing this guy who doesn't really have any particular, strength set or something crazy. I mean, obviously he's got skills, but doing that and putting him on the street level was really kind of cool. I thought that was a great way to do it. And second, the way they introduced Haley, this is the kind of stuff I really love in comic book movies. Seeing her out the window as a kid, watching Hawkeye from a different perspective of that building jump he did, man, dude, that to me, that's a moment that means something. It takes you back, and I love whenever they go back and show you how much influence this one event had, and they keep sort of reinventing that event. I won't be able to watch Avengers now without watching the scene where he jumps off that building and knowing Kate is watching him right now and it changed her life. I think that is strong.
Yeah, that's definitely. I want to just really quick jump in and just say that I definitely agree with you on that, Arch. I've mentioned this before in Hawkeye reviews with Andrew and stuff like that. We've had this conversation about how for me, like, that really stood out to me, that that different view they gave us of the Battle of New York. And Hawkeye's like little action scenes there and whatnot and everything. And then I felt like for me, the one thing between Kate and Clint that really felt real to me, like tangible, that I actually felt like was impactful and registered for me emotionally, was when they connected, when they were building their arrows or whatever, or making arrows, and she told them you made me believe that I could be a superhero or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or I could be a hero or whatever. That shit was dope. I really liked that. It was tight,
Right.
I almost cried and everything, but no, I'm just playing. No, but Alexis, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on our number 2s?
Which do you want me to talk about? The fact that I agree about Hawkeye, or the fact that I think you're insane about Black Widow because that movie was terrible?
What? Terrible.
I hated that movie, guys. Hate. I thought it did a horrible disservice to Black Widow. I thought what they did to Taskmaster is criminal.
I agree. Totally agree.
I thought Dreykov officially became the most boring villain, even behind Malekith, which I didn't think was even possible. I like the stuff between the family. This director did a good job with the scenes with the Red Guardian, Rachel Weisz's character, and our 2 Black Widows, those scenes were really good. And the scene in the beginning with the family and the kids escaping, those were also really good. The action scenes were lacking. The story was convoluted. And I'm sorry, Jeff, I gotta disagree with you. That scene where
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
seriously, you interrupted me for that.
I'm sorry. I had to drop that in there. Go ahead. Finish up.
I got used to that.
Right, but that scene you're talking about where the whole she dislodges that thing in her nose. No, she is trying to sever the nerve connecting her nose to her brain, basically, which it can be done, but you have to give it a hell of a lot more force than just banging your head on the table. 2, your nose would be bleeding, gushing gallons of blood if you hit that hard. But heaven forbid they make Scarlett Johansson look like she's bleeding that profusely. And see, it cannot be fixed with just a crack. I thought that scene was so horribly convoluted. Frankly, this movie reeked of a director who had no idea how to do action and suspense. And I genuinely did not like it at all.
Well, hold on, Alexis. Let me just make one point that I agree with you on that. What you said right there, I will actually tell you that I do agree with you on that. I do think Kate Shortland kind of fell flat in terms of if the film could have went in like a Captain America Winter Soldier direction.
Exactly.
If they would have done it the right way, it could have been like that. It could have been like like noir and like kind of like secret agenty. You know what I mean?
Nobody got injured in that whole movie. Nobody got a broken arm or leg or nothing, and you can't tell me all those falls and everything that nobody got hurt.
Well, no,
hold on. The 2 girls, the 2 Black Widows fell down and broke their legs. One at the very beginning.
Yeah. Didn't the one get killed? Didn't the one
that's right. That's right.
Point?
Who's the one who stunned Yelena back into consciousness, and then the one that Black Widow, like when they were escaping, the dark-haired girl who fell down in the middle of the courtyard or whatever it was, from like 4 stories up.
I also had a real problem with what they did. Again, this goes back to the Taskmaster thing. The fact that Dreykov's daughter, who we have established in previous movies is one of the things that Natasha has felt guilty about for years, that she feels she killed this kid, only to find out that she's alive and she's been brainwashed. When she brings her back to life, the first thing this girl says is he gone? She doesn't care about what Natasha did. She only cares about her father. What he did to her. And I'm sitting there going, well, you just erased part of Natasha's character development. It's like, it's okay about what Natasha did because what Dreykov did was so much worse.
She was absolved of her guilt. Yeah.
Exactly. I really felt like this movie, if I had done a bottom 10, this would have been at the bottom.
Well,
even though I think Eternals was actually a more boring movie, this is at the bottom 10 for me because it was the most disappointing. We've been clamoring for years to see a Black Widow film. Scarlett Johansson is perfect in the role. She's made it. She's owned it. She's made it her own for so many years. And this is what we get for her send-off. It's like, come on. We owe her better than this.
Dreykov as the main villain did not do anything for anybody. I don't think really, you know what I mean. But that's just my take. But don't get me wrong, I still loved it.
Were you guys looking for more of a Captain America type of film, or like was it the
that's
style?
what I wanted more of like some kind of espionage, like a
that's what I thought we were going to get.
Soldier type movie. I thought that would have been
okay, like a Winter Soldier sort of film. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious. I didn't know what we were going to get. Honestly, I mean, I was watching it, and it was definitely a lot more. I don't know if emotional is the right word. I feel like there's a better word for it, but like they were clearly going for this.
There was that family
tragedy
dynamic
feel.
There was that family dynamic that
right, yeah, but like a very damaged family and very damaged.
Not slouching.
Not gonna lie, I feel the director also got a little caught up in the message, and it's clear this director wanted to talk about human trafficking because that's a central theme, and there's nothing wrong with that. I understand how that parlays into the Black Widow storyline, and it is a very, very major issue that we do have to tackle, as a society. But I feel that she got a little heavy-handed with it. Most Marvel directors, they do insert other morals and messages into their movies, and they're normally very subtle, and they can work it in more naturally. This felt like the human trafficking storyline and what Black Widow was going through didn't mesh. It felt like she was trying to tell two different stories, if you will.
Yeah.
I guess I can see. I don't. It's weird because I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but I like none of it's making me dislike it. Now I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Like Widow is not a film that I've gone back to and watched repeatedly at this point. I have seen it twice, but I know there's other films like maybe like Civil War or something in that vein that I've gone back and watched like who knows how many goddamn times. But yeah, I mean it didn't hit me like that. I don't know if it's kind of subconsciously due to the things you're talking about, but you know, I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know. There's some good moments in it though. I don't want to act like I'm downselling it really. I mean,
you know what? There is that possibility with me that like maybe I was just like really stoned and fucking wasted and shit when I went to watch it.
I didn't have that problem.
No?
I'll be honest. I know exactly where I watched Widow.
And again, Arch, I'm with you. There are some good moments. I really like the scenes with the four family members, both in the beginning and the middle part when they sit down for dinner. The actors all had really good chemistry. And I'm with you guys. I love Florence Pugh as Yelena, and I'm really excited to see her continue into the MCU. I'm glad we got this character. She's a lot of fun. Have you guys seen Midsummer?
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah, she's amazing in that, too.
Hey, Jeff, do you want to jump in and add? You want to add anything, and then we'll jump on to our number 3 picks
to the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, just whatever.
I can add in a bunch of stuff, but the Black Widow movie, it's on my list. But I mean, I was let down. I was let down at the Black Widow movie myself, but not because, I don't know, man. I read into the human trafficking thing, and it wasn't what I was looking for. I fell in love with Black Widow and Yelena through Marvel Knights. I was looking for some espionage, some deep stuff. I was expecting to see Taskmaster, the old school Taskmaster. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I don't like how they changed Taskmaster's powers to where all of her abilities were through the helmet or whatever, like technology.
I thought Yelena did a better job than Scarlet. I felt like it was rushed. I felt like the movie was rushed.
Please tell me that we're all in agreement that they did Taskmaster dirty in this.
Yeah, they did. It was terrible. It was awful.
I didn't like the mask.
Yeah, it's like Taskmaster's always been one of my favorite characters. I was so disappointed.
Same thing with what's his name in Shang-Chi, Death Dealer. He got screwed too. You know? But
anyway. I wasn't. But that's all my criticism is on it. I mean, that's all I got on that. I mean,
let's evolve on to number 3.
Y'all tell anybody I'll kill you! Peanut butter and pretzel.
He kicked his habit back in the joint, now he's out going. He's finally home, he's Tyrone.
What?
I seriously need to make you some graphics, dude.
What is happening here?
I don't get the context.
That was pretty hilarious, man.
Oh, Lord.
You like that, Jeff? Oh, man. I'm sorry. I love that character. I'm telling you, Dave Chappelle is funny as hell, man. What was that? Andrew, was that you that said what was the context of that?
Yeah, I had no idea what that had to do with it.
Oh, it has nothing to do with Marvel, obviously. It's just like my own sick, twisted sense of humor that I've got to drop stuff like that because I'm juvenile like that. You know.
I'm just glad it's not the karate chop one because that one's for.
Oh, man.
Don't give him ideas. For the love of all that is good and holy, don't give him ideas.
I'm saving the karate chop, the skull can shirt guy for later in the show.
Hey, just before you move on, I just wanted to throw one tiny more thing out about Black Widow. I love the James Bond reference and the James Bond ending. And if you didn't see it in the middle of the film when they're watching Moonraker and then they wind up fighting in a big giant, satellite base thingy, I'm a huge James Bond fan, so I found a great kick out of that.
All right, I'll start off 3. Well, just to get it rolling, I'll start off 3, and then Jeff, you can come in after me, and then we'll go Andrew, and then Gunnar. You can take up the rear. I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go Loki.
Oh, damn.
Good choice.
Simple as that. And I don't think there's anything to really have to say about it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Was basically, on some levels, it was better than WandaVision. Just not overall, to me, was it better than WandaVision. But like on some levels, I feel like it was. You know what I mean? And definitely a different series. And without question, the whole Lady Loki, you know, what I forget, what was her name? Was it
Sylvie?
Yeah,
Sylvie was the Monica Rambeau, John Walker MVP of like the series or whatever. And I don't know what they're gonna do with her like in the future because she's too old to be a young Avenger. You know, so like I don't know where they go with her, but I feel like it's interesting this whole dichotomy now where they have the Disney Plus series, right? And whereas like before everything was planned out in the MCU like 4, 5, 6 years ahead, like with the cinematic universe, now you throw in these Disney Plus shows for a year, and all of a sudden you have these laboratories where all of a sudden, like, you know, on a weekly basis, like based off fan reaction and like, you know, and the media reaction and ratings and whatnot and everything, like you can get these standout characters in these Disney Plus shows that literally could like force themselves like into some kind of bigger role into like the larger MCU in some respects. And I feel like Disney Plus it brought that element to Marvel Studios and to like their whole production like values and like how they view their planning and everything and whatnot. I feel like Disney Plus is causing them for the first time in years to actually have to like be willing to react based right off of like instant type stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff that's just happening like, you know, like on a daily basis, weekly basis. And I think that it's really interesting just because I think that like, you know, like, I don't know what will happen with Loki. I mean, obviously we know that they're going to do a second and a third season. I would have to believe that Sylvie will be back and she'll be back on the show and everything and whatnot and everything. I would have to believe that. But like at the end of the day, it's also really interesting to me how, you know, like with Loki, one thing that is very different than like in contrast WandaVision is the relationship between Loki and Lady Loki, that incestuous like romance that they have or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's actually kind of sweet in a way. Like that's how it felt like to me anyway. But that's my take, Loki. Get after it, Jeff.
All right. Mine's right there, number 3. Number 3 is Loki, right there with you, Jeff.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange. But my biggest thing with Loki is, I mean, Owen Wilson, who would have thought Owen Wilson would come in and be a serious character like that?
Good call.
You know?
Great casting.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that? He came in there and he pulled it out, man. And then Jonathan Majors. I mean, I knew he was an awesome actor, you know, in the shows on Lovecraft. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
he was so great.
I mean, he was unbelievable in that. I would have never thought he would have been doing the Marvel thing. And then to find out that now we know, you know, he's going to be Kang, or he is Kang. You know, it just blows my mind. I mean, Loki opened the door up for where we're at with Spider-Man. I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
But what about Alligator Loki? You can't forget about
That's what I'm saying. You know, he brought that in. And then,
I lost
and then
track of how many cosplayers were doing it. Okay,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
you guys know I'm a Comic-Con vendor. I take pictures of all of the cosplayers that come by my table when I work shows. And I actually had a running bet with the crew on Radulich and Broadcasting Network on what was going to be the most popular cosplay. And the winner was, everyone did versions of Loki variants. And they all managed to work in versions with Alligator Loki.
Alligator Loki
awesome.
almost made it to Baby Groot and Baby Yoda status. He's like right there.
Almost.
Right off the bat.
He needed one more episode, I think.
Yeah,
do,
pretty
but
much.
the fact that he only appeared in one episode for... I mean, the guy got... The alligator's got his own Funko Pop.
Right. And then it opened the door up for people to know that Thor at one point had been turned into a frog.
That was such a great Easter egg. I love that.
Now you've got comics, you know, they did a run on Thor, the recent comic book, where one of the covers is him as a frog, and now the frog is a character in the comic book.
Hey,
So
Jeff.
Who
it
caught the
spurned a lot
Thanos
of things.
copter in the background in that episode?
That was awesome.
That was
Yeah,
great.
That was
yeah, it
so
was
great.
good.
Jeff, listen, man. Listen.
The idea that
I'm gonna go-
Thanos needs a helicopter. I
I
love
love
it.
I'm
that
gonna go-
comic
I'm gonna-
panel. It's so
Since we're on
stupid.
Loki, I'm going to drop the Loki trailer quick, and then you can come back in and finish your contribution and whatnot off the trailer.
I know what this place is. The timekeepers have built quite the circus. And I see the clowns are playing their parts to perfection.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart.
I am smart.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
This is absurd.
Sign this too.
We protect the proper flow of time. You picked up the Tesseract breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Why me?
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Yeah.
You really believe in this Loki variant?
Luckily, he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Why? It is adorable that you think you could possibly manipulate me. I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
You can trust me.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
Why never do it again?
All right, Jeff.
Introduced us to the
back at you.
TVA. Who would have thought that? Who in the world would have come up with the TVA? I mean, that's like way back. So
My husband,
and then
my husband spent a good chunk of his life in Knoxville, Tennessee, and every time the TVA came up, he'd actually make a joke about the Tennessee Valley Authority.
Yeah. But then, like, it brought up. Remember the scene with Valkyrie when she's beating the hell out of him, she smacks him like 5 times in a row. Remember, it was repeating itself over and over. Yeah, remember, it was like over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
that was crazy. I mean, the whole episode, but it opened the door up for this multiverse that we're all interested in now. So that's what I liked about Loki. That's why it's number 3 on mine. And I'll pass it on.
Andrew.
When it comes to like ranking lists, I think I can speak for most people where like you have an idea of what your top is and what your bottom is. And it's like that middle portion where you start to kind of, you're not so firm on. And the 3 is not quite in the middle, but I'm getting to the point now where like I'm not so sure. I was going to say Falcon and Winter Soldier would be my 3, but I'm kind of a Loki convert now. I think Loki is my 3 now. I think
you can do a tie if you want. You could always just like say that you want to do Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
You could do that.
Yeah, I think this is why a lot of ranking now, they don't do top 10 so much. They do the exceptional A, B, C, D, F ranking.
Yeah, because I know
a
like,
lot of people do nowadays.
I know what I love the most and what I hated the most, but it's that middle section where on any given day it can be completely different. So I'm just locking it with Loki at number 3 just because I loved all those characters.
There's so much stuff in Loki, it'll open your imagination up. That's what's crazy. There's so much there.
But Andrew,
all those variations. Renslayer, what?
But Andrew, you do kind of feel like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was almost like just as good as Loki.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do. Yeah, they're right there. They're right up there for me. They're tied. And then like we'll get to the rest later. But those 2 on any given day, interchangeable for me. I found different things to love about both. Zemo, obviously in Falcon Winter Soldier. I love all the history stuff with I can't remember his name, but the old school, the black Captain America from like the 50s. I love all that kind of like commentary
Isaiah
about
Bradley.
Isaiah
thank
Bradley.
you, Gunner.
That was
yeah.
such a great.
Yeah.
Have you guys read the comic book?
The red, white, and
Red, white, and black.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
So-
it's awesome,
Such a
isn't it?
great book.
I didn't like the stylizing of it, but I love the book. So
It was
I-
way
it is-
ahead of
The
its time.
artwork's a little iffy on some parts. I'll give you that. If you
when I
Way
can
ahead of
get
its time.
past the stylization of something, if the story's that good, so
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll give you that. There's one character who's got like a. I can't tell if it's supposed to be a weird shoulder, or a hump on his back, and the way he's drawn, it looks very weird.
It'll break your heart.
I
That
can
book will
understand a lot
break
of
your
people
heart.
who don't like the artwork.
So Andrew, let me ask you, what did you think with Loki? Like what was your take on Sylvie? Like what was your take on like the secondary characters and everything and whatnot in Loki?
Again, that third thing, that thing I just mentioned, like for the first two, it really comes down to emotion and like seeing Loki as like, it's kind of weird getting your head around like this isn't the Loki we've known for the last like 7 years. This is the Loki from 2012, right? This is a Loki that failed his invasion of Earth, and now he's kind of like he has a whole situation where they have to kind of bring him up to speed. He sees his whole life played out before him, and then he has those 2 episodes in the beginning where he kind of has to contend with like how not everything he perceives that he thought he knew, like he actually knows, right? Like the way they use the Infinity Stones as paperweights. Like for him, that's like that breaks his mind. Like how are the most powerful things in the universe just paperweights here? So that's like when he gets like he fully grasps that he's out of his depth here with the TA and stuff. I love how we have like the only person that Loki can love as much is basically himself in another form. Is Loki? He's like such a narcissist where he falls in love with himself. But Sylvie is Loki, but at the same time, there's things about her that make her Loki, like that we understand, right? She has more of a tragic past where she's not like Thor's not really part of her story as much as the Loki that we know, right? She's more about being taken away as a kid and having to survive and struggle and finding, a way to survive at multiple like apocalyptic events, right? And stuff. I love that last episode where like you want them to kind of like, you want her to put the blade down and for them to just have their happily ever after, but she's not going to commit to that. She's, she has to see her mission to the end and how it just breaks, the Hiddleston, I guess I'll say the Hiddleston Loki breaks his heart and stuff. And then the tragic truth about Mobius and like, he's not going to get that jet. Yes, he's not going to ride off into the sunset with that jet ski. And I just love all those little characters.
Get it eventually. There's another season.
We'll see, I guess. But like, I just love all those characters. Renslayer, I liked how she's coming with the truth, and she's just like, instead of like going along with it, she kind of just goes off on her own to find her own truth, kind of thing. She just exits to God knows where. I loved all the stuff. The twist where like the heads of the TVA were just like a Wizard of Oz kind of moment. They're just not there at all. They're machines. And then the whole thing with the green monster, like every episode in that show, I think that's one of the stronger shows that I've seen where I felt every episode was strongly used perfectly. So yeah, and then pretty much the same thing. I think they were both 6 episodes. I could be wrong, right? They were both 6.
Yeah, I think WandaVision and What If had 9 episodes. Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, and Hawkeye had 6 episodes.
Okay, so yeah, same thing with Falcon Winter Soldier. Every episode was used properly. I love the stuff where we get that moment where Bucky finally realizes that the stuff doesn't work on him anymore. The brainwashing stuff, like
that was powerful.
That was really.
Oh my god, that made me tear up. I say that made me tear up. Just like that sense of relief, that, like he's like finally his person again. Like, so powerful. Everything that Marvel does, well, just about everything, right? Just about everything is like wonderfully done. So Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier tied for 3 for me. So I'll kick it off because the time. So go ahead.
Gunner.
Man, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. My number 3 is Loki. I loved it. I mean, everything's been said that I would say about it. Everything between the Thanos copter and Throg, the Throg Loki. The things that hasn't been mentioned yet. Eugene Cordero, he's the MVP of this series. He's the TV agent that, that's dumb. Like, he's hilarious. I love him. Give me more of Eugene Cordero. And little things like, I love that the void was filled with TVA trays, which means as soon as these guys were done with their lunch, instead of getting up and putting their tray away, they stabbed it with that stick and sent the tray to the void.
I never caught that. That's awesome.
Watch when they're in the void. There's trays everywhere, all over the place. I thought that was so awesome.
Oh my God, I love that.
And Jonathan Majors, like, chewing up that scenery in a good way. He was so good in that. Now, as much as I loved WandaVision, I think the fact that everything that we thought we were going to see, Mephisto and Wonder Man and all these things that never came to fruition kind of kept me kind of at bay when it came to reviewing Loki. But it was awesome that for as much crap as we got wrong in WandaVision, I feel like we got so much right in Loki, with Jonathan Majors being he who remains will be a Kang variant. And like, just all this little stuff. I loved it coming into fruition, and everything was such well acted. And I just love this show from beginning to end.
I want to watch it again now.
Right?
Yeah. Another good one to podcast.
Like, we're all hyping it up. All of a sudden, it's like, I want to go rewatch that.
Seriously, this is the one I was waiting for you guys to say. It's hard for me to rank stuff, but you'd be hard pressed to convince me one of them is more exciting or better than this show. You guys have mentioned a ton of stuff with the characters; they're all fantastic, including the what was it, the judge lady who has like a big arc where she comes around.
Renslayer.
No, I'm not talking about Renslayer. I'm talking about the general type lady who.
I know. Agent. What was her name?
Well, hang on a second. I'll look that up.
18? Was it 19?
You know what I'm talking about.
Hunter B-15.
Hunter B-15.
Hunter B-15. Yeah.
15.
So
the one that's the first one who starts the thing, something's off, and she takes Sylvie back to the apocalypse at the Walmart
she becomes his
thing.
nemesis. Yeah, she had an amazing arc, and that it's stuff like that. Those type of character moments where I didn't expect her to be anything significant. She had an amazing arc.
I was happy.
Right.
And Ramona Renslayer is Kang's girlfriend.
Yes.
That's what's even more crazy.
And still no one has mentioned Miss Minutes. How awesome was Miss Minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Very strong. One of the best currently working voice actors.
So cool. And that's what I really loved about the show. I just love the trippiness of it. This type of Marvel. I grew up like kind of getting into comics with when Guardians of the Galaxy came back out and had a renewed push, and then I went back and read like all of Silver Surfer Volume 2, and I picked up some Nova stuff and old Adam Warlock stories and things. And there's just kind of cosmic weirdness to me is like just always really, really interesting, like how they can just pop around to different places. And dude, I got to tell you, this series ended with several huge, powerful moments with classic Loki with the horns down there. Recreating all of Asgard, and then our Loki has
Richard E. Grant chewing the scenery.
Dude, it was amazing, screaming out glorious purpose as he sacrifices himself. That was intense, man. And it really was. That was as just energetic as anything they've done in all of the MCU. That was fantastic, dude. But having Loki have that moment again, they always work in character moments in this series where he realizes he says something literally like, "I think we're more powerful than we know." And he realizes at some level he's capable of that level of illusion. And I'm really curious where they level him up at some point. I'm curious to see if they do it.
Well, I'll tell you, if you don't mind me really quick just jumping in, Arch, I just want to see if anybody would agree with me on this. I feel like with Loki, in its 6 episodes, it had more impactful, like powerful, it had more like great episodes, I guess, if that makes sense. It had more like big episodes like that were really interesting and fun compared to the other series, kind of. You know what I mean? Whereas like with
tie for me.
Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me, I felt like there was a lull, kind of like in between some of the episodes, like at different points of the series, I felt like there was a lull in the energy. And the show kind of stalled a little bit. Now, maybe that had something to do with like the whole COVID deal and them having to like cut out those parts of the series that had to do with the whole virus thing that they were gonna have going on in the series. I don't know. But I feel like that's the one thing I definitely felt with Loki was that it just had all these like, I really felt like it had all these strong episodes where for me, I know that like a lot of people, like on the podcast of Champions, a lot of people hated episode 3, but I loved it. It was like my favorite episode other than episode 5.
I thought the whole thing was good. Just real quick, I wanted to echo something Jeff said as well about Jonathan Majors. Dude, that guy can act, man. Like he was playing like 2 or 3 characters towards the end, and he'd flip back and forth mid-speech with long takes. That guy's good, man. I'm really looking forward to and hoping what they do is get him to play several different versions prior to whatever they're going to pay that story off with.
I think you're right.
Absolutely.
I think that's exactly how they're probably going to do it.
Like he shows up as wildly different versions of him. That'd be kind of cool to see him do that in different films.
Gunnar, why don't you go ahead and lead off our round 4 and whatnot?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my 4, we've all talked about it, but my number 4 is WandaVision. And like I said, it was my favorite experience of all this. I marked it down a little lower just because I thought everything else was so great, which is nothing against it. I will be honest, the reason why I think it's so low also, I am afraid to go back and rewatch it. It is so in my mind right now, I have nothing but praise for WandaVision. I loved it so much. But I loved podcasting about it even more. I have not gone back to rewatch it since. I'm afraid in my mind, it is on such a high pedestal that I don't want to knock it off. So I'm seriously really afraid to rewatch it. But I tried not to say anything about WandaVision just because I knew I was going to talk about it. But I mean, really, what more is there to say that we haven't said? I love it so much, and I will go back and rewatch it eventually. I love the different eras, how every episode was another decade. Agatha Harkness was amazing. I mean, Catherine Hahn, come on. Like, Marvel knows how to cast amazing actors and actresses in their shows and movies.
Without question.
And I'm excited Randall Parks was awesome. I love Randall Parks and Kat Denning. Like, they were so good. House of Harkness. Don't sleep on that, man. I think that's going to be the MCU's version of House of M. I don't know how. I don't know where. They're going to flip the switch, and it's going to, instead of wiping out mutants, that's how they're going to bring mutants into the universe. I don't know how. I don't know where. I don't know why. But why would they call it House of anything if it's not going to be a House of M?
That's a good point.
So
I figured it was called House of Harkness because they were going to go for like a haunted house feel since she's a witch.
Yeah, they might do that too. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that's what Wanda was all about. WandaVision was about overthinking every little detail every time they showed in between the floorboards.
Mephisto.
Everything. It was a Mephisto reference. That's why I'm starting this already by saying House of M is gonna be told in House of Harkness, and if not, and Mephisto doesn't show up, I win because it's the same thing as Wanda. So I'm really excited about that. I loved WandaVision. I think everything that everyone has said so far, I echo with all of you guys. I can't say anything bad about it except all of our great theories. None of them came to fruition. Not one. No Mephisto. No Fantastic Four. No Wonder Man. No nothing. It was Agatha all along, which is kind of genius. Yeah, no Magneto.
Come on,
and it gave us Ralph Boner.
I wanted Magneto,
No
man.
doubt.
So what do you think, Andrew? You want to jump in and you want to give us your number 4?
Yeah, I was as he was talking, I was listening, and I was like kind of trying to organize everything. My number 4 is gonna be Shang-Chi. Honestly, it's not like story-wise. I think it reminds me too much of Black Panther, where like we have like the big we have the big factions, armies at the end. We have like the return to family kind of thing going on, where you come from a long lineage of like your family is like important and stuff. It can remind me a lot of Black Panther. It could also be just like, and I'm gonna say it's because like the entire cast was just like one race. Maybe that's also kind of remind me of Black Panther kind of thing, where it was very clearly like that's what they were going for. But I love oh my god, the fight choreography is amazing. It's like Dragon Ball Z levels of crazy, like towards the end with he has like the rings, there's bouncing back with his dad, like the rings. He starts to like steadily collect the rings from his dad. Like he just starts adding them one by one to his his little armory. I love the stuff with him and I forget her character, but Aquafina's character. Like I know a lot of people liked Aquafina. They thought her acting or whatever her like character was really weird in this film. Having seen her in some of the other stuff, I thought it was pretty decent. I thought she was, I thought she was good. But I just love how they can have a female and a male lead and a female co-lead, and it's not like a romantic interest thing. It's really like they're just the best of buds. I'm so glad they didn't try to do the generic romance, like friendship that develops into romance. It seems like where we leave them off at the end of the film, like they're just great karaoke buds. I love how we have the connections with like Wong, and then there's the Mandarin. We finally get that payoff. Like I've been so pissed since Iron Man 3. I'm glad we finally got that payoff with the Mandarin character. They redeemed for me. I didn't like Trevor Slattery in Iron Man 3, and they actually made him like actually good.
Though I did really love. Who didn't laugh out loud seeing Trevor Slattery teaching the kids how to play soccer in that musical? That was such a cute scene. I loved it.
They took this professional like outstanding actor, and they had him playing with this freaking like ass faced fucking like weird like Disney creature or whatever. Like what the hell was that?
Oh, Morris, a little cute. I like Morris, the little character, that little whatever that thing is. I love that thing.
Pig chicken. There's a pig chicken.
Freaking joke, man.
Yeah, it's funny because like he's like, oh, like don't mention he doesn't have a face. Like he's very sensitive about it. Like I love,
it's cute.
That whole movie is cute. I love kind of growing up with a lot of friends who are Asian. Like the karaoke stuff, the kind of the multi-generational family in one dwelling. Like that's I'm Mexican, but like I like that stuff. Like they nailed that because that's exactly how my friends are and stuff. So there's some things about Shang-Chi that I think. The story isn't the greatest. Honestly, it's not the greatest, but I love the tournaments. I thought we were going to go with kind of like, I thought the film was going to be like a Mortal Kombat kind of thing with like a tournament, like all these people gathering together.
Yeah.
And then that only ended up being like a very small part. Like I loved going halfway through the film and not knowing what the rest of the other half is going to be. And then they did that weird thing where it's like, okay, here's the big bad. It's a big monster thing. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. Marvel still needs to work on, even in a post-Thanos era, we still have to work on our villains. But everything with we have the Abomination cameo, we have Wong, we have the guy from Spider-Man he's recording on the bus and everything. Like, I love how there's like all these things that like if you've been keeping up with the MCU, like here's the payoff. I never thought I was gonna like Trevor Slattery after Iron Man 3, but like they redeemed him. They actually made him likable, and I'm like, wow, I would have never like thought that was possible. And like the stuff with the father and like his wife, like the mom, and how he kind of, he was like a conqueror, and then he found love in his life. He calmed down, he settled down, but they took his wife away, and like he had to, toughen his heart again and be a cold-hearted badass again. I don't know. I mean, the actual like act structure of the movie is kind of not so great, but I think the other elements, visually, the movie has its own unique style. Everything else other than the story is strong. So that's my take on Shang-Chi.
Jeff.
All right, my number 4 is Black Widow, and it's all been said about it, but I think it's what really got me upset about Black Widow, and I probably should have dropped it further than 4, but I'm gonna leave it at 4. I really, after I don't know about the first 20 minutes of the movie, somewhere around in there, when they introduced Taskmaster. And I think it was right after Yelena got rid of the chip and she deserted. And then it was like right after that, it went to the main guy. They asked if they should go ahead and activate the Taskmaster protocol. And they show Taskmaster standing in front of a screen, and she's practicing all of their techniques, fighting techniques. I was fired up. I thought, oh, yeah, cool, this is going to be good. And then when they revealed Taskmaster. It was a big letdown. But we've talked about Black Widow through this thing, and I like Black Widow, but like I said, I grew up with the Marvel Knight version. I was expecting a lot more espionage type, but it was a good movie. I mean, you know, and like I said, it's on my list. All-time favorite Marvel movie? No.
Hey, you know what?
You know, it's on there.
Hey, that's very kind of you to drop Black Widow at 4 since I threw it in there at 2. You know what I'm saying? At least somebody's getting like at least close to me. You know what I mean? But all right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you guys my 4. Did I already do my number 4?
No.
Okay. My number 4 is going to be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think it's very simple. Why? I mean, I think that basically watching that trailer just a minute ago impacted me like it did. Like it really brought me back to that series. You know what I mean? And it made me think about like the positive aspects of it that I really liked, like the stuff that I really enjoyed about it, you know? There were a lot of good parts to it. Even though I did say that I felt like it kind of lulled a little bit in between episodes at times. With the story a little bit, it seemed a little bit meandering or whatever. It had so many good elements. Zemo was awesome, you know, like, I mean, he was great. I mean, you know, John Walker was like the Monica Rambeau of the series without question, as far as I'm concerned. Like he was the MVP, like secondary character that stood out. Even though they wanted people to hate him, he still came out looking good by the end of it. And I love how they did his arc. It worked out. His arc flushed out perfectly. Now, not so much with Carly, you know what I mean, or like with Sharon Carter as the power broker and all that jazz. That was like kind of what. God bless you, Alexis. That I don't know about all that like deal. Like I still don't know. I know Gunnar, you think that Sharon Carter's a Skrull and everything and whatnot and all that, and I get that.
I do too.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, that's right, Jeff. You do too. I forgot.
I do too. Yeah.
See, I don't think so. I think Sharon Carter is gonna. Well, for one thing, they're saying she's gonna be in Moon Knight. If you look up Moon Knight on Google or DuckDuckGo, when it comes up and you get like they show the actors and actresses in Moon Knight. What's her name that plays Sharon Carter is in
Emily
Moon Knight.
Vamp.
Emily Vamp.
Yeah.
Not listed in on Wikipedia so far. The only 3 actors confirmed is Oscar Knight, obviously is Moon Knight, May Calamai, I think is how you pronounce it, and apparently Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I heard
Ethan
about
Hawke.
that. Oh, yeah.
It looks like Ethan Hawke might actually be playing the lead villain if I'm reading this.
Yeah, I think he's a villain. Yeah.
Ethan Hawke, yeah, he's
Alexis, to you and Arch, where do you think Sharon Carter ends up like next? Like I've heard people say that they think that maybe she'll pop up in Armor Wars. Like, I mean, where do you think she fits in like next?
I'm gonna go with what you guys are saying. I vote Skrull.
I vote Skrull too. I think they definitely started her down a path for some reason, and the fact that it's clearly a little awkward for her. I think probably is on purpose. But I mean, this feels like they started something from her that they're going to end up having to pay off. So they've got a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they would have taken her down this like more villainous route. I mean, the only thing that's really seeming plausible is Skrull.
I think they're going to want us to think that the big reveal is she's a Skrull, but I think she's going to be the fake out to whoever the giant reveal. I think there's going to be a huge reveal. Like I know in the comics it was Hank Pym, so someone like at that level of a character is going to turn out to be a Skrull. I think we're going to think that it's
Secret Invasion is going to be interesting how they make that work.
Well,
yeah, I just don't know why that's not a movie. That should be a big.
I know it should be. I totally agree, Gunnar. Totally
I don't know. I like the idea of expanding it out into a series, but in all fairness, that they haven't given us anything on any of the shows that are going to be popping up in 2022. True. We've gotten some images of the cast and everything.
We got a 3-second shot from Nick Fury from Secret Invasion. That's all we've seen.
Shout out Sharon Carter in the What If Zombies episode in the Avengers. That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't want to. This is going to be complete conjecture, but I mean, maybe this turns into a show movie kind of combo thing. Like, we know they're moving around, but there's not enough spoiled, and then there's a film something that comes out eventually where like somebody you weren't expecting. Well, I don't know. It could lead somewhere. I feel like it's not going to end with a series anyway. If they do whatever they do with Secret Invasion.
I'm interested to see how Peter Parker plays into Secret Invasion, because he finds out in No Way Home when he says, talk to Nick Fury. They say he's been off world for 6 months, and that's never followed up on. But, he's just like, I just spoke to him the other day.
Right. But is Nick Fury going to remember it now that all this has been changed?
No, but Peter's going to remember it. So maybe, like I said, I want to see how Peter plays into this whole wait. Because, like I said, he finds out that, apparently who he's been talking to isn't Nick Fury. So I think that's going to be a major plot point for the Secret Invasion show. But again, we have gotten nothing for any of these shows in 2022, not even release dates.
Nope.
No, and I'll tell you what. Why don't we go ahead and jump on to 5, guys? I'll tell you what. Jeff, why don't you start us off?
All right. Well, now I want you to remember something. Now, I didn't do any list until I talked to you today.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Number 5 for me is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it got number 5 for me because number 4 was Black Widow. And when I've already, obviously I'd already watched Falcon Winter Soldier before Black Widow came out, but I loved Falcon Winter Soldier. I loved the action in it, but I'm a big Winter Soldier fan, and I like Sebastian Stan as that character, and I hope that they keep him around as the Winter Soldier because he's a perfect Winter Soldier. I liked him better in the style of Civil War. And of course, Winter Soldier, Captain America, but I like to see the vicious side of Winter Soldier, but I know, that's changing now, but,
I'm with you, Jeff. I'd actually had hopes originally that Sebastian Stan was going to be in the next Black Panther movie because they called him White Wolf.
Right.
And White Wolf is another character from the comics, but we've talked about this before. Marvel has a talent for combining a couple of different entities. So I thought they were going to combine Bucky and the White Wolf.
Right.
And it basically like, okay, so after Falcon and Winter Soldier, Bucky went back to Wakanda.
It's almost like they're going to switch the roles in the way it is now. I think Captain America will be Sam Wilson, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I think Winter Soldier is going to be the Falcon. You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm saying? He's going to be right there with Sam.
There's another character who gets the wings at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's the new Falcon, I think, because in the comics he does pick it up.
The guy who plays Sam.
The guy that was that was in the military with him. That's in the comics actually.
Yeah, he takes up the Falcon title after Sam Wilson gets his promotion.
Maybe they'll do a series with Winter Soldier, and actually we'll get to see him, be vicious again. I love the espionage of Winter Soldier in the comics, but anyway, Falcon Winter Soldier got number 5 for me, and that, I love the way they tied in the ending of Falcon Winter Soldier with Val talking with dadgummit, I call him U.S. agent, but
that is his new title.
Yeah, when she threw him out and said, you're black makes a big difference, because that's a big deal. Then Black Widow, she's at the cemetery and speaks with Yelena. So there she is. So I like the way they did that. But Falcon Winter Soldier was awesome. I went into it with pen and paper, pausing it, writing down everything in the extra credit scenes. I mean, dude, I've got paper after paper of stuff right now because I broke it down just like I did, WandaVision, like we talked about earlier. But anyway, I loved it. So it's number 5.
It is interesting because Black Widow was originally supposed to come out before Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah. So Valentina was supposed to appear first originally in that little post-credits scene and then get her full title afterwards. So it's one of those. It's like
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out before
Yeah.
Falcon Winter Soldier came out. I forgot about that.
Yeah, sorry for the extra commentary here of chewing on the antler.
No, that's all good.
Yeah.
Gunner, why don't you
Cleo
go-
likes
why
it when
don't-
I hold her toys.
Gunner, why don't you go next, and then I'll come after you, and then Andrew can wrap us up.
Yeah, no, thank you, because mine is also Falcon Winter Soldier, and I mean we've all said everything we love about it. Let me say what is disappointing was that they changed so much of it. They changed big, huge plot lines because of COVID, because there was a whole subplot with Mama Donya, who was the leader of Carly Morgenthau's group.
Right. Yep.
I really hope
Mama
that
Donya was the
too,
leader, and there was this disease that they were spreading out, and that's why that the scene where they were fighting on the trucks, they were stealing vaccines. So they pretty much they kept that fight scene, but cut out almost all the other references to the illness and to the vaccines. And I think
totally forgot about that, Gunner.
yeah. So that's kind of something that it had working against it. But having said that, man, I just enjoyed this ride. I didn't, like I said, my list is very series heavy on the front, and this is kind of on the low end of the series, which, I mean, you could look at this and be like, man, this is my fourth favorite series. But these three other series I just love, and I love Falcon Winter Soldier. I just love these other ones so much, a little bit more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future of Captain America 4 when that comes out. And
yeah,
everything that we've said already. Zemo was great. Sharon Carter was great. Io was great coming back, and heck, I mean, I think we'll see Bucky again, maybe in Wakanda Forever. I don't know. He seems to be on the outs with them, but you never know.
Well, yeah, most definitely. And of course, I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to throw Spider-Man 3 up in there in that 5 spot, just because I got to finally do it. It's hanging there. I got to drop it at some point. So I mean, I'll drop it at 5, I guess, because I feel like it was a really good movie. I don't want to downplay it or whatever. Like, I'm going to go watch it again in the theater. I want to see it again. I enjoyed seeing it and everything and whatnot. I just felt like, for me personally, the type of MCU fan I am, what I enjoy from certain MCU films and from shows and stuff and whatnot, unfortunately, for my tastes, what they gave us in Spider-Man No Way Home was not my tastes. Like, it didn't do anything. It didn't really get me on a lot of different levels. Honestly, as awesome as it was that they did the multiverse and they brought in Tobey Maguire and they brought in Andrew Garfield and everything, I felt like they overextended some of the like silly humor and stuff like that and everything, and like some of the stupidity, like was some of that like crap with them. At the same time, there were really awesome elements to it. Like, I mean, Doctor Strange is so awesome. I love him in anything. You could add him to any MCU film with like anything, any actor, other characters, and I love him in it. Like, I think he's great. So, I mean, he was a great addition to put him in with Peter. And the fact that they did those villains, man, Doc Ock was great. Like, I love Doc Ock.
Yeah.
They gave him a lot of screen time. They gave all of them plenty of screen time. That's what I enjoyed.
Yeah, Doc Ock was great. Like, the Green Goblin was great. Electro was great. You know what I mean? Like, Jamie Foxx Electro was great. He looked great. The Lizard looked cool. Like, he did his thing and shit. He was kind of like was pointless. Like, he had no impact on anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. He was just there.
It would have felt weird without him there, though. Let's face it.
Sandman was confusing because I didn't understand his motivations at all.
I don't know. The visual deal with him, though, was straight. Like, when they made him all big and shit and everything, and he had that huge face, that was dope. Like, I was down with Sandman with that shit. Other than that, Sandman was whatever. You know what I mean? He was whatever. He was like the Lizard. You know what I mean? Like, basically, I mean, at that point, I feel like it's interesting the direction they went with it, how it ended up wrapping up, the way that they're kind of sending Peter Parker off into his next trilogy is interesting. It really is. It's like Alexis has mentioned earlier in the show, like it's going to be interesting to see what direction they take with Peter Parker. And I mean, hey, I think that I could be wrong. Doesn't he have one more like guest appearance in another MCU film or something like that in his contract?
You're talking about Tom Holland?
Yeah, doesn't he have like one?
He has one more.
He has
team
more
up
than
movie.
one. doesn't he? Okay, there it is.
Let's face it. I think Sony's currently working hard to thank you.
Distance
to
themselves
extend
from
that
Marvel.
contract.
He's not going anywhere. He's not.
I think
going
Sony's
anywhere.
looking to distance themselves from Marvel with Spider-Man. I think they're getting cocky, thinking that they can do it on their own, and they don't want to share. And I just, I'm afraid for where Spider-Man's going to go.
I don't think
Well,
they're
we
going
do
anywhere
have
right now.
we do have Spider-Verse 2 coming out this year as
Yep.
well,
Yep.
which
I don't
I
think
am
they're going
genuinely
anywhere.
looking forward to.
Which
I think
looks
Yeah, I don't think they're going to.
the trailer looked awesome.
Mhm.
They just did the whole reset with him starting over from scratch. Like that has to be like for something, not just because like they're gonna, extend him. Like like Gunnar was saying, they're gonna extend that with him. Like they just did the reset with him in the movie, so
Sony's not going anywhere. I said this after the last time there was this little panic about negotiations breaking down. I wasn't worried for 1 second. Sony doesn't have any intention of leaving the MCU rub that they're getting.
No, that they like that relationship.
No, they like that because they get that they know the MCU is the biggest thing going into Hollywood. They're not going anywhere, and Marvel wants the access to their properties. This is it's a win-win to stay together. They'll
The
figure it out.
MCU maximizes Tom Holland Spider-Man's financial value. You know what I'm saying? For Sony,
it's a symbiotic relationship.
it is.
Go to the corner. No, I was gonna say, especially when you see just how much money No Way Home is raking in. Again, I'm pretty sure Tom Holland is currently meeting with Sony and Disney executives, and they're just saying it's like, okay, so how much money do we need to toss at you? We'll just keep on going.
I think Tom's happy as hell. He's going to play it for a while. I hope he plays it till he's 40. I think it'd be great to look back and have this run of like 20 years of this one actor in this one role, starting off as a teenager and eventually playing a dad version of him. That'd be one of the coolest things that's ever happened in the genre.
13.
Seriously, no, it'd be great to see him if he's like that late, still hanging around, even if it's just cameos and you get.
They're gonna run out of home puns though.
I love home slice. I also have a fake one.
That's true. That's a big
Yeah.
concern. They might need to watch out what they're doing there.
I do have a lot of friends who are actually glad with how this, how No Way Home ended, solely on the grounds that now Spider-Man is on his own. There was a lot of complaints from diehard fans that Spider-Man was Iron Man's protege. And while I do like that Tony Stark was the one who gave him the leg up, they didn't like that Spider-Man was getting everything from Stark Industries, that he had the Iron Spider suit and everything. Part of the appeal of Spider-Man was that being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he was very down to earth. He made his own suit. He had to wash his own suit. How many jokes have we seen in the comics about Spider-Man saying, damn it, I got to do laundry? They wanted that, and we've got that now. He's on his own, and I feel that that's the Marvel saying, okay, then let's see what he can do without Stark Industries, and I like that.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, you're our last contestant, brother.
Sorry, guys, I got interrupted. For me, we're on number 5, right? I think it's number 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for number 5 for me, I'm gonna go with Hawkeye. Hawkeye, it's not that it's not great. It's that everything that I ranked above it is just better. I enjoy it more. For no fault on its own, is it in the middle? It's just that it's definitely better than what I have on the bottom, but not quite as good as everything that's phenomenally on top of it. So Hawkeye for me is mid. It's right in the middle because I enjoyed the stuff that I talked about way more. It has
that
moments.
There's
There's character.
That's the problem with these countdowns. Eventually, it just comes down to why'd you put that there? Because I couldn't find a reason to put it above over those, but it's still good.
I was saying earlier about Spider-Man, like I just have to drop it in somewhere. Like same thing with me for Hawkeye. That's what's the middle is always going to be just kind of whatever.
I feel like Hawkeye is like it's probably going to be like my next pick or the one after that. You know what I mean? He's like a sandwich pick for me.
Yeah.
I was just thinking before you even said Hawkeye that so far we're talking about 4s and 5s being like Shang-Chi and Spider-Man 3 and Hawkeye, and you're still down at really Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You're still down at really good series and movies, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's just a testament to their quality overall. It's been great. It's been a great series so far.
You know, one of the things that doesn't get talked about with Hawkeye, and I think this is important also for Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that these are the two shows I feel that help establish the MCU universe the most. These are the shows that show us not just what our heroes are up to, but how the world around them views them and what we see with them. I love the idea that with Hawkeye, that the Rogers musical, and we're just like, that's how they're viewing
right.
these superhero. Side note, the guy who wrote the scene with the Rogers musical, guy who wrote Rent.
Amazing, really.
Yeah. So I like that in Winter Soldier, because I feel that that's an important part of the MCU it's an important part of any superhero story that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's like we need to know not just what are our heroes doing, but how does the world view our heroes?
That's an amazing point. One of my favorite little bits at the end of Avengers even is the newsreel as they're starting the credits. And it's just these clips of various interviews and people on the street and politicians talking about how they view it, and you can tell right then that there's a wide variety of like opinions and thoughts and political maneuvering to try to use the situation in one way or another. And
even little things like the guy getting the Captain America shield tattoo, and the other guy's getting his beard cut to look like Tony Stark.
Right, the kids
Just
playing in
little
the
things
street
like
with the trash can lids again and stuff. All that, right? Going back to Kate, just if I can, you can stop me if somebody else wants to go. But the two shows that you guys mentioned that I had other thoughts on were Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then also Shang-Chi. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but that one I just thought was very worthy of being somewhere in this spot, just because it's got so much going on. They played a lot with the characters. It never slows down for me. I think it's just great throughout. They step up the action. It's got great pace. It just kind of gets more and more and more and more and more, and then if you eventually got dragon on dragon, it was insane. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I watched this with a totally different perspective. U.S. Agent, I love this character. He's actually my favorite character. I know that sounds crazy, but the reason that is the first time I was ever experienced to any comics was a U.S. Agent trading card. They used to have those trading cards back in the early 90s or whatever.
Oh my God, the Marvel trading cards.
Yeah, the Marvel trading cards.
Oh my God, I remember kids on the playground having booklets of those and going through them. That's how I learned about Carnage, Venom, and Lady Deathstrike.
Right. Well, so the reason it was a big deal, I think is actually kind of cool looking back, because before that, I was never into comics. I just thought that it was a group of 5 people, and it was just kind of done like the Power Rangers. It didn't go very too far. I didn't know it was so, but when I saw it like U.S. Agent, I was like, oh, there's like various different like there's people that have been inspired by these other people. It's like a larger, it got me to realize there was this larger thing going on, and I started kind of like investigating it after that. So I always loved him. I loved his arc. I loved what they did with him in the show. I loved his appearance. I loved his costume, the whole thing. He's the one I want to see what happens more on. Just overall with the show, they did a fantastic job. There's tons of moments where I thought it was just great, from Bucky realizing he was free to like Sam and his staring contest. There's just all kinds of good one-on-one matches. Baron Zemo was amazing. There's tons of great stuff in there. I'm most looking. I feel like I'm wanting the final episode, which is what Sam does next. Whether it's in they've got Captain America 4 coming. I want to see what he's now like on the big stage, like to other Avengers, to the world. I know we saw like a bit of that here, but I want to see like the large scale impact, him leading a team, stuff like that. I want to see him now as Captain America. I think that's going to be great.
Excellent. And at
Did
that
y'all see the extras part of Falcon and Winter Soldier? After in the extras, that the virtual launch event with the military and all. Did you see that?
I saw parts of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's about 30 minutes long. That was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that till after it already come out, but that was pretty cool.
Well, if you don't mind me, Jeff, I'm going to jump in really quick and just give everybody a chance to go ahead and give last thoughts and go ahead and plug away on whatever you want to plug, so we can go ahead and call this one and put a pin in it. So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Alexis? plug away, and last thoughts on anything that you want.
Mostly I've agreed with a lot of what you guys have been saying. There was actually one thing I did want to talk about with Loki that I didn't get a chance because I absolutely love that show, but there was one teeny tiny little thing that bugged me. And it is the most nitpicky of things, I swear. For the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, we often will review and discuss certain graphic novels that tie into movies or TV shows that we're also talking about. So the week that we decided we were going to talk about Loki, Mark Radulich and I also discussed the Loki for President graphic novel, which is a personal favorite of mine. And we loved it, and we talked about it because, we were so excited since we saw, the vote for Loki variant in the trailers, and the fact that he was just barely in there. I was like, really? You teased us like that? Again, I have problems with Marvel when they do those little teases and they don't follow through. It's like, don't show us President Loki and not actually use President Loki. Come on.
This is why I don't watch trailers.
I'm with you there. But I also share trailers on my company's Facebook page. So
touche.
All right. So, but yes, like I said, for the most part, I've agreed with you guys. Again, I really look forward to what we're going to get with the TV shows here for Disney Plus and the MCU for 2022. Really hoping we get some new release dates coming up before too long. It's like we don't know when any of these shows are coming out yet. Marvel, you need to give us some updates.
That is true. Let's hope that we get a Moon Knight trailer or a Doctor Strange 2 trailer or something here pretty soon, right?
Well, we got our Doctor Strange 2 trailer at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, well, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean.
Fair enough.
But anyways, Alexis, do you want to go ahead and mention anything as far as Honeysuckle Rose Creations or?
Yeah, so that's my company, Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. I'm a Comic-Con vendor. We also sell handmade items. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
I just didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I think we just laughed. Or we're agreeing. We enjoyed that.
Okay. There you go. Our convention season is not going to start up until March. We are officially booked for a couple of shows that are coming up, including the Lexington Toy Show and Comic-Con, Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, Colorado Springs Comic-Con, Fan Expo St. Louis. We're waiting to hear back about Fan Expo Denver and a couple of other shows. Really excited to get back on the road here pretty soon. Until then, you can always find us on our Etsy and Handmade at Amazon shops. Everything is fully stocked. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Our Instagram page is down. I'll keep this short. We got hacked over the holidays, and my Instagram page was nuked. We got viciously attacked by hackers.
Wow.
So I am probably going to have to make a new Instagram page for Honeysuckle Rose Creations here in the near future. So till then, you can still find us on Twitter and Facebook. So it's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, the intersection of geek and chic.
All right. Fabulous. Gunner, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, one thing I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but it's going back to Loki. Freaking Loki is DB Cooper, one of the greatest mysteries of all time.
I love that.
I love the story of DB Cooper, and I love that it's Loki. That's great.
I just love that I could tell my parents that joke. They're not Marvel fans, and even they thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we've talked about, I've loved. Guess what? Everything we haven't talked about, I've loved most of it too. I mean, this has been a great year for Marvel. I mean, for a year that COVID saw a complete year with 0 Marvel releases, they definitely made up for it with a lot of great stuff, a lot of moving the story forward. I'm really looking forward to 2022 as well. As far as me, you can check out a bunch of the stuff I'm on at wideopenmic.net. I'm currently doing 2 weekly shows. I'm doing Snap, an MCU podcast with my buddy Chris, and then I'm doing a Lost Rewatch podcast where we are in the middle of the 2nd season of Lost. So if you like Lost at all, it's great. We got a virgin in there that's never seen Lost.
Wow.
And it's so awesome. Like, I like watching Lost through his eyes. And I just like, what do you think's going on? What do you think's going on? So it's for someone. Lost is one of my favorite shows of all time, and it's great re-experiencing it again.
I've never watched Lost.
Well, join us. You watch episode by episodes. Follow along with our podcast, Jeff. You'll love it. Lost is great.
Yeah, I've never watched it.
There you go. We got another virgin. Come on, Jeff.
I recommend it.
All right, Andrew, what do you got to say about your writing these days at GNM? What's going on?
Okay, so I am a staff writer at GNN. I mostly write about video games, occasionally a Marvel piece. I also have I host a podcast with my cousin about video games called Duo Sense. And we just talk about video game news from the past week, and then we just talk about what we've been playing. And then also another thing I just recently started with another friend. We have what we call My Star Wars Show. It's on YouTube, where we just talk about Star Wars. We just did one about our favorite ships a couple weeks ago, and we just did our first impressions of the Book of Boba. So you can just find that on YouTube under My Star Wars Show. And because this is the third time I've done an episode where Jeff or we don't finish the list, I'm just gonna rattle it off real quick. Number 6, I put What If, just because.
No, we're gonna do a part 2. We're gonna.
Are we? We never finished the other ones.
Listen, all right. Here's the deal. This is my thing on it. All right. The way I see it, there's no reason why we can't try to like reconvene and all come back together for like it's Friday this week. What if we all tried to plan to get together for like Friday or Saturday next week, and we'll do the part 2? Does that sound like a plan for everybody?
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm open for whenever, dude. I'm good whenever. You just give me that.
All right.
You throw me out there.
What do you think, Gunnar? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I should be able to do next Friday, as far as I know.
Art, do you think you might be able to swing that?
I hope so. I can't commit, as
All
you know,
right.
but yeah, I'll try. I know I'll be coming back from work on Friday, so we'll see.
Okay, great. And then, all right, and as far as the rest of us go, Jeff, I want to say that, Jeff, I just want to, since you don't really have anything to plug, I don't.
I'll just plug. I'm here.
No, listen, I'm gonna plug for you. I just want to shout out everybody on the show for joining me tonight and whatnot and doing the show. I had a great time with all of you, but I really want to just say thank you deeply to all of you guys for all of your contributions to the Bleeding Edge, whether it be in 2021 or now in 2022. I wish a great 2022 on all of you, and I genuinely mean that. I care about all of you. You're all my friends, and you all are like an important part of the Bleeding Edge. And Jeff, you've been really an asset to me recently. You know what I'm saying? Just like you have to Gunnar, just like you have to Andrew, just like Arch, you have been in the past. Alexis, you're in and out, but like you're consistent. You're there. You know what I mean? So
well, I'm consistent when I'm not dealing with hackers.
Yes. But no, I just want to thank all of you very much. I appreciate you, Jeff. You guys are all really great people.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of people to do this ranking with. And I'd love to get together with you guys and do a part 2 of this and whatnot, because I feel like it needs to be done. So at that point, for the Bleeding Edge, Cybernetic Shark, my co-host, of course, is at work right now. He can't be with us, but I'm sure he would be if he could. Shout out to Cyber. Shout out to Minds of Creativity Network. Shout out to GNN, even though they're not so cool with me these days. I'm still shouting them out. And much love to everybody. Everybody have a great, wonderful 2022. And besides that, I guess peace out.
Thank you.